Hold on, because what you might discover today might change the way you think about your real estate career, and make sure you stay until the end, because you might just find out that LPT Realty is a good fit for you after all. Over my 9-year career, I have been at Keller Williams, ERA, EXP, and now LPT Realty. And now that I've been here a full year, I feel very well qualified to tell you why some agents love LPT Realty and why some agents might hate it. Let's get right into it. So the number one reason I find that most real estate agents absolutely dislike being here at LPT Realty is the lack of a physical office. And one of the things that come with not having a physical office are feelings of isolation. Now, real estate tends to generally be a solitary sort of thing if you're not running on a team or not building a team yourself. So it's not all that uncommon that that is a feeling you might get. And another problem with not having a physical office is, where am I going to meet clients? Well, a lot of real estate agents aren't meeting them before going to go see houses or to visit their house for a listing anyway, so that might not be an issue for you. And then, of course, there's the entire team collaboration portion of it. Anytime you're dealing with a cloud-based brokerage, you're going to at least feel like you're losing a little bit of that team collaboration. And of course, some of you might be worried about a professional image, because if you don't have a physical office there, you might think that your clients actually care. So how do we mitigate these things? Since this is the number one complaint that you're generally going to get from a cloud-based brokerage, almost any cloud-based brokerage that is, how do we mitigate them? First off, if you are just starting out in your real estate career, joining a team might be a good option for you. There is most likely a team with a physical office somewhere near you. Just because the brokerage as a whole doesn't have individual offices does not mean that there are no offices at all for LPT Realty. You are allowed to go ahead and get your own office, and of course you can work from a neutral workspace as well. So the first one we need to mitigate is isolation. Well, it's very easy to get away from the isolation portion. Just get involved with LPT Realty. There are generally lunch and learns going on in your city, and of course there are other agents you can collaborate with as well. And of course, for the second one is client meetings. Where are we going to meet clients if we don't have a physical office? If you didn't choose to join a team or build your own office through LPT Realty, where do you meet them? Well, you've got all the options that most people do. You've got coffee shops, you've got your favorite title company or your favorite lender. Those are all three really good options. And as far as the team collaboration portion, that is one thing I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes that I believe LPT smokes out of the water. We do team collaboration extremely well. Please keep in mind the other three brokerages I've said I've been at who boast their culture and boast their team collaboration. And this is by far the best brokerage I have ever been at for that. And I'll talk about that here in just a second. And the last one that I mentioned was professional image. Some people feel that if they don't have an office to go to, that somehow their clients are going to feel some sort of way about their professional image. But there's absolutely no data to prove that. I mean, most clients have no idea. They don't care. They don't care what brokerage you're in. They want you. Real estate is about building relationships, not about your professional image. Now, there is one small caveat to that, and that is if you are working in the luxury space already. A lot of the luxury clientele do want to use a local name, and that physical office is important in there as well. But LPT already saw that coming, and that's why they produced labs, so that you can still join LPT Realty, but keep your name from your localized brokerage that is already embedded into the community and already inside of that luxury space. So if you're a team leader, an owner, a broker owner, what have you, and you've got your own little niche, but you like the stuff that LPT brings to the table and you want to be a part of that, there are options for that. You can absolutely build underneath the LPT umbrella, but keeping your name the same through their lab program. So now that we got the number one reason why people don't join LPT Realty, what are some of the really big pros? I'm not going to make this a long, comprehensive list. I'm going to go over some of my favorites here at LPT Realty, from selling at a high level from 3 other brokerages and then moving here, of what I find important. Some of these may be beneficial to you. Some of them you might not care about as much, but hear me out all the way till the end, because I am going to go over a couple of things about the brokerage that you're definitely not going to want to miss. The number one thing I want to start with is culture. Culture is one of the most important things to me. And because we're at a cloud-based brokerage, that was always one of the things that I'm worried about. When I was swapping over from ERA to EXP, it was one big thing that I was worried about. And then from EXP to LPT, I was really worried about it, because LPT is a little bit newer. Although it's the fastest growing brokerage in the country, it was still considerably smaller than EXP. So I was personally worried about culture, and that is the thing that I want to start with because it's what they do extremely, extremely well. On top of those regular lunch and learns that we are doing, the entire community as a whole throws their information online. We've got small Facebook, well, they're not small anymore, they're growing rapidly. These Facebook groups that we're all collaborating in, we're all bringing value to each other. And that's my favorite thing about the entire thing is you're going on there and you're getting information from rock star players giving away everything. There is no holding back of any kind at all. You've got major players giving all of their information out so that other people can rip off and duplicate it in their marketplace. And what's great about this too is this isn't just inside of the LPT network. You don't just have to be an LPT member to do this. You can actually start joining some of these Facebook groups now and seeing some of these massive players come in here and do training. In fact, right before shooting this video, I jumped on the main one that I go on to, which is called Elevated Agents. And in the last 7 days alone, there have been 10 major trainings or major videos that can really help with your business from a multitude of different people. So these are the kind of things that we're doing to increase that culture and make sure that that culture stays tight as we're growing and going to the moon. And because these Facebook groups are open to the entire public, not just everybody's downline from one person way up at the top, trickling down just like it, that's kind of how it felt like it was at EXP. It felt like you couldn't go into the other groups to learn things from other groups. And there's no knock on EXP for that, but that's one thing that I absolutely hated. We're all one team, one fight. I never ever liked that system, and here they've completely flipped that on its head and opened it up to everybody. So you don't necessarily have to join LPT Realty to gain this benefit, but you are going to need to join in order to fully fit inside of the culture. And speaking of joining LPT Realty, if you are curious about it, I'm going to throw up all of my information up here on the screen. You can call, text, email, send a carrier pigeon, however you want to get a hold of me. I've got your back when it comes to moving over here to LPT. Next thing I want to talk about is technology. Technology is a big thing inside of this space. You've got some brokerages that are going too much with technology, looking at you guys, Compass. I'm not knocking y'all, but they dive a little bit too much into it, and their agents are always struggling to keep up. And then you've got some that are really, really lagging behind. I'm not going to name the tons of brokerages that are really far behind on their technology. Technology is very important, but at the end of the day, better is better than new is better, okay? So having a good product that works is very, very important to your business without getting overwhelmed with all the different technology. And LPT makes sure that you have the tools that you need without overbearing and overloading you with a bunch of tools that you're going to have no idea how to use. Some of those are the LPT Toolkit, the LPT Connect, which is your overall hub that you can get to everything from. And inside of the listing power tools, we've got multiple options for different things that they provide for you. The main one that they do is a listing power toolbox for every single listing that you get. All you need to do is pay shipping. It gets delivered within about a day and a half to your front doorstep, and it has all sorts of marketing materials from thank you notes to door hangers to postcards to full color ads, flyers, even a sign hanger to hang underneath your listing sign that gives a very easy way, couple of nice pictures of the property, and gives them an easy way to find out about that property without actually having to pick up the phone and call you, which a lot of clients right now like. They want to be able to get that information without getting hounded with the salesperson instantly, and then you're getting all of that information to you. It's your listing, you're getting all of the leads from it. They also have packs that are just postcards, some that are just meant for door-to-door prospecting, and then even some digital ads you can all get right there through that system. In fact, as I'm shooting this, we are just leaving the month of August, and for August, we did an August Blitz where LPT Realty paid for all of these things for you to just shove exposure on your listings, and these are the kind of things that our founder believes in. And then, of course, some of the other marketing tools they have. There's a great AI tool called Desi. This is what's going to give you all of your products that you need, your signs, your open house signs, your business cards, and then it's even going to have your billboard stuff on there and then some other products as well. Yes, you heard that right. Billboards. They give us billboards here at LPT Realty. If you're in a population center with a bunch of other agents with you, you're going to get these. If you're in a smaller one, it just needs to grow a little bit as far as I'm understanding in order for them to get billboards for you. These are things that LPT Realty is doing to increase their exposure, so they're not charging you anything for that. And then, of course, you have the basic stuff. So you got your CRM, which is Chime. Just got a great comprehensive back end that you can buy leads from directly if you wanted to do that. The company does give a lot of leads if you want to get on their lead program. They are the largest purchaser of Zillow leads right now as a brokerage anyway. And so those are kind of getting divvied out everywhere. And they've also got homevalues.com, which is they're trying to make like the Zillow, except on the sales side. Maybe not Zillow, because Zillow's selling the leads back and stuff, but you kind of get the point. They want it to be focused on home sellers, whereas Zillow is kind of focused on home buyers. And we get regular leads through that all the time. I don't even know how it happens. I just get a text message with all this information. I call them, I grab a new listing, and I continue on with my life. Then, of course, you've got the training and support to consider, especially if you're a little bit newer, if you're under 5 years in the industry. You're going to want to make sure that you're always staying trained and staying up to date on everything, which is probably why you're watching my videos. If you are a returning subscriber or something like that, I do appreciate that, by the way. But the training and support here is very good. We've got the Agent Power Up program, which is generally meant for somebody that's only been in the industry a couple of years or less. It is optional. And then they've got a mentorship program if you are new that you can pair with somebody. And this is a mentorship program that works. I remember when I was over at EXP, I joined the mentorship program as a mentor because I was so irritated hearing some of the other people coming to me going, well, my mentor doesn't pick up the phone. My mentor doesn't make it to the calls that we do. And when they do, they're not interested in actually helping me. They've got bigger, better things to do because there was no real vetting process for that. I have been hearing nothing but outstanding things from the LPT mentorship program. So take that with what it is. It's supposed to be pretty good. And then, of course, you've got the brokerage details themselves on how you would join and what pathway to go down. One of my favorite things about LPT, in fact, the thing that attracted me the most, was that you have two different pathways. You've got an 80-20 model, 80% to you, 20% to the company, until you pay in $15,000 and then you're capped. And for that, you can get rev share money, you get a little bit of better stock options and things like that. Whereas if you're not interested in that portion, that's perfectly fine. This is what I really liked. They have a 100% model, which is $500 per transaction until you pay in $5,000. After $5,000, you are capped and you keep 100% for the rest of your year until it resets again. What this did is this offered, for my team members anyway, an avenue if they're not trying to recruit anybody. They don't need to build a downline and they don't need to be on a high split because they're not building that downline. So it gives them that option to keep money in their pocket. And my favorite thing, though, is that as their career changes, they're not going to get limited to what they chose, right? Because you can go back and forth on these. If you want to go from the $500 model, maybe you bring on a new team and you're like, hey, great, this team fell in my lap. I'm going to get some downline money. I'm going to switch over here to the rev share model because it's going to pay me out more. You can absolutely do that. So if your life circumstance changes, you can always go to the other thing. Maybe you're planning a family and your wife gets pregnant or you get pregnant and you're ready to go and start that portion. You know that your sales are going to be down for the next 2 years. You want to keep as much money in your pocket as possible and you don't have a lot of rev share anyway, then you can move right on over to that $500 per transaction model and then continue until you're ready to go back in and start killing it again. I already talked about the labs. That is where if you would like to keep your brokerage name and all the forward-facing thing, but you want all the back-end support of LPT Realty, there is an option on that. I can get you details on that if you guys want to contact me. Again, all of my information will pop up on the screen for you if you want to take a screenshot of that. And I already mentioned the stocks and the revenue share. You guys are probably very, very, very well familiar with this stuff. Our revenue share is a lot easier to obtain, all 7 levels, instead of going, I think it's 30 deep at some of the other brokerages. I don't know what they all have. Ours is considerably easier to hit. And then, of course, these stocks are out there. We are collecting them, but they are not publicly traded right now, so we don't know what that's going to look like when it does. But if it trends in the way that most of them do, then I'm going to make a heck of a lot more money than I put into this company by a tremendous margin. Now, nobody has a magic 8 ball or anything, or I guess they have the little toy ones or whatever, but nobody knows what it's really going to do. So we'll just have to see what that does whenever the IPO goes public. I hope this video was helpful. My name is Mongo, or of course you can call me Andrew. As I mentioned before, all of my information will pop up on the screen. If you have any questions or you would like to talk to somebody about joining LPT Realty or find out any additional information, please reach out. I will also throw a Calendly link down below that you can get directly on my calendar if you'd like to chat. That's all I've got for you this week. I'll see you guys next week.